What is PID, and why is it my favourite live stream and never stop talking about it? Well, welcome to PK School, a series where I try to teach people the basic mechanics of PvP so you can learn them. What is PID? Player identification number 7 to determine who has actually blah blah blah. It's so boring. PID essentially is just priority over the other person. Someone has to have priority over the other person. How does that affect you in PvP? In this video, I'm going to go over how it affects you, how you should play if you have it, or if you don't have it, and what the hell is just going on. Okay, so PID, aka priority, just bounces between every single player in the entire game in PvP every 24 to 36 seconds. This is more frequent than the normal game, which is usually 60 to 90 seconds. In PvP, priority shifts between players a lot quicker. That's every 24 to 36 seconds. So what does that mean for PvP if you do have this priority? Well, it affects your eats, they go a lot quicker, your hits will register a lot faster, your weapon combos will be smooth, and it even affects casts such as Vengeance. So that means if you don't have the priority and your opponent has the PID, what does that mean for you? It means your eats are going to be delayed, it means your hits are going to be delayed, it means your casts such as Vengeance are going to be delayed. That's right, your opponent will... If you have PID, I'm going to be blunt, if you have PID, you are in the future versus your opponent. This is how strong PID. Alright, so now we know a little bit more about PID. How can you tell if it's your PID or your opponent's? Alright, got a video here with the help of lovely Kingo Block showing how can you tell it's someone's PID. We're going to do it for MSBs because this is just one of the easiest ways to show it. I want you to look at my bow first. Can you see I'm firing the arrow? And it's hit him. And look at his health, like, nothing's popped up, and now it's popped up. That was a large delay. Now I want you to take notes of his bow. Look at that arrow he's firing, boom. Before it's even hit me, the XP drop is shown. There is a large delay on whose hit shows first. Again, look at mine. It's still not shown. Now it has. Look at his again, he's firing it. Before the arrows even hit me, the damage is shown. That is the bit. It's like a what, 0.6 delay. It's a big delay difference if it's not your PID versus is your PID. So that is one way to tell whose PID it is. Another clip here showing me doing melee and the opponent doing range to show you again about PID. We'll press play now. First one, you never really know. The second one, you instantly do. So again, can you see the arrows in his body and the XP drop's already shown? That instantly has told me it's his PID because he has such a high, just such a big priority on hits. Like, there's just no delay. But then look, when I swing my sword, swing. That was a big delay and I finally got the hit. So I'm going to skip a bit forward in the video and I want to show you the swing when I do have PID. So this is not PID again. So, come on then, swing. So you see the sword has hit him and no XP drop is shown yet. That, and then it shows. That's a big delay. I want to skip ahead a little bit because here now I do have PID. That's perfect. That's a perfect timing. So now if I want to pause it, perfect. Do you notice the sword is just above my head and the hit has already shown? Before, when I didn't have PID, look at that difference in timing. It's so much quicker. So right there, I know it's my PID. Okay, so now you know what PID is and if you've got it or not. How do you play in PvP based on if you have it or don't? So if you don't have PID, remember, their hit is going to register before your food. So you must play defensive. Sit 80 to 90% hit points. No one should ever convince you that you're a safer if you're versing someone who has special attack in 2020. You must eat higher. You need to be careful of venges. Just in general, play defensive. But the biggest point in my opinion is do not go for spec. Because if you spec, remember, they can just easily out-eat that spec. Very easily. Okay, but then what happens if you do have PID in a fight? You're able to play a lot more offensively. Remember, you're basically in the future versus your opponent at this point. So your hits are going to register a lot faster, giving your opponent much less chance to eat it. You should be speccing on PID. You can sit a lot lower health if it is your PID. Just keep in mind, do not get overzealous because PID changes every 24 to 36 seconds, remember. So you might have PID for 12 seconds and then it might switch because it might have already been 12 seconds you had PID and you've not realized. So just keep that in mind. So what happens if PID swaps between spec or a whack? Those are called PID swaps, and these are the horrible things that the PID system currently has. This is where you're going to see a lot of the high-riskers die, such as Oda and Bill, and they're going to, no, PID swap, no! They're so annoying. So essentially, what happens is, your opponent doesn't have PID for a second, so their hit is delayed like normal, right? But then what happens when it is their PID? Instantly, their attack gets that massive buff, doesn't it? So you've got one attack that's delayed, followed by an attack that isn't delayed, and that is your PID swap. And all three stacks hit at the exact same time. And it also stops your eats from working because PID's changed, and everything's delayed, and you can't eat it, and you get stacked for ridiculous amounts of damage. This happens to me 7 times a day and you just die. I'm gonna show you some clips. God, I hate fucking PID swap. Anyway, he's got a clip here showing what a PID swap looks like. So it plays from the very beginning. Look, right now, the first swing, my PID. Look at his arrow, large delay, so it's my PID. But look what happens next. Next swing, oh no. Oh no, what's happening here? Let's break it down. His arrow has just hit off PID. This is an off PID arrow. But he's just got a PID swap because my Sarasword hasn't hit. So it's an off PID arrow, but it's not my PID. Oh no. Bang. Look at that shit. So, bro, just to show you how extreme these are, the arrow, can you see the arrow there? The arrow is still on his body, but the granite maul has beat the arrow to my face. All rights, I should have died to this disgustingness. Because the arrow is a non-PID arrow, but the maul is a PID arrow. But because it's his PID, it registered anyway, even though the arrow is no way. The arrow hasn't even left his body yet. That is so gross. Somehow, though, I snuck a triple E in and lived 58 health for an Obby Maulwhack. I should have died there. All hands down, PID swaps are disgusting. But it's part of the game. I'm going to play it again just so you can see how disgusting this is. Not my PID. Sorry, it was, but now isn't. Look, bang! That is fucking insane. Jesus Christ. Oh, you've got to look out for that shit. How do you protect yourself against that? I have no idea. That, unfortunately, is just part of the RNG. This is why Oda dies for 10 Bill. This is why Bill dies for lots of... This is why risk fighters die. This is why the people who can't die because they know the game perfect die. Okay, these are just bullshit. These are bullshit! Exact same situation here. I'm going to press play and just look what happens to my face. Hold on, I want to pause it. There we go. The G-Maul! Again! Look at the arrow! Oh, I hate this game sometimes. Just look at me. I'm typing better, and there's just nothing to say about this clip. There really isn't. It's like, oh, sure, yeah, I'll try and eat that, Jagex. Yeah, no problem. I'll definitely eat that. Look, I'm dead, and the arrow isn't even hit me yet. Okay, so I want to end the video on some real life situations on seeing whose PID it is, if it's mine or theirs, how I react to it, and when I spec. So, got a first clip here, let's see what happens. So, as I can see from here, it's his PID. I need to keep my health a lot higher than that previous Ben. Come on. It's 87, perfect. So, it's still his PID with that 27. I take some armor off because of my dick. Still his PID with a 5. Still his PID with a 17. Still his PID with a 2. So, I'm staying high health. You know, it's some 71. I don't want to go any lower than that. I do know what. 92. Good job, Ben. You're learning. 27, not my PID. Ah, perfect. Instantly, I just noticed his 5 was delayed and mine wasn't, so it's now my PID. Now I can play a lot more defensive. I'm 73. I realize I don't need to arrow that. I spec because it's my PID and he's dead. You can't live that. So, I'm not very good at commentating fast clips, so we'll try that again a little slower. So, 27 is still his PID. I eat to 87. Always stay high, especially if it's not your PID. This is where I notice it is 100% my PID. So armor on. I don't need to eat that. I know I don't. He's not going to eat. Maybe he's not noticed his PID. He's sat 60. I can AGS at 60, no problem. I go 55. He didn't get a single eat in it. He's 7 health. Or he's 5 or 7. Sometimes it's a bit fucky on Runelight. But I know this G-Maul is probably going to claim his life. And it did. Simply knowing it was my PID at that point allowed me to spec very easily. So determining PID is extremely important. Here's a clip from 2017 Biohunter I just randomly looking at in the hard drive. Yeah, I don't really delete any clips. But here's another example of what happens when you try and both go for it at the exact same time. So it's my PID. You can see the arrow's not left the bow. The hit's registered. Instantly means it's my PID. We both try and go for it at the exact same time. If you notice, my PID though. So this is very important to determine whose PID it is in the fight, because if you're going for risks like this, even though we pulled the axe and the Aegis at the exact same time, it was my PID, and he got donked to 59 and he couldn't spec me, unfortunately. Just another good example of PID from 3 years ago. God damn it, I miss Biohunter! So, to summarise this video up, you need to do this every single fight. Number 1, you need to check whose PID it is as fast as possible. You can do this doing the methods I've shown in the video, such as checking whose hit splat shows first. Second, you then need to play based on if it's your PID or not. If it isn't your PID, you need to eat higher. You need to get ready to eat, hover over those foods, and do not spec. Remember their actions process before you. If it is your PID, you can then start to watch the XP drops and get ready to spec, and you don't actually have to hover over the food and get ready to eat. You have a lot more time to eat and get your specs off. And that's it for the video, guys. Hopefully you learned something in this video. If you enjoyed, make sure you hit the like button. If you disliked it, make sure you hit the dislike button. But tell me why in the comments why you hated this video. And I will also make another video on PK School. I don't know what, I don't know when, maybe, I don't know. Okay, bye, have fun, hopefully you enjoyed.